Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, hey, hey. This is your girl, Jill and Treal with Detour Movement. And I am most passionate about equipping singles to catch their whole life, particularly single women, everything from their mission to their mate. This is the season. This is a time for you to create the life that you truly love. And I truly believe that as a result of doing that, you will attract and keep healthy, happy love. So I'm excited to announce that today is part 1 of an amazing 3-part series. So if you guys can just go ahead, if you haven't already, if you're watching live, you're watching a replay, type your city, let me know where you're coming in from. I'm looking for a little insight on whether or not I should move forward with my relationship. Okay, Trina, great. Then if I don't get to that in my content at the end, I want you to ask a question specifically about what it is that you're trying to get a breakthrough from on that. Hey, some folks in from Michigan. So welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad you guys are here. I really have spent the last, 5 years really supporting women and equipping women to make better choices as it pertains to their relationships. And honestly, we've done a lot of different things. We've done webinars, we've done seminars, we've done a whole lot of things. We've done conferences, but now I'm like, it's time for me to take women to the next level in a more intense way, in a more in-depth way. So I'm launching a program coming up soon, and today is going to just tell you a little bit about some of the series. This is going to be a 3-part series. This is part 1, and I'm going to share with you a little bit about my story and kind of start giving you some ideas about what all is going to be encompassed. Yeah, whoop, whoop. I'm super excited, and I'm really excited that it's going to give me an opportunity to really dive deep, right? To dive deep into what it is that you really need to get results, because it does not take long. It does not take long. I do believe a man that finds a wife finds a good thing, but I do believe that as a woman of God, you need to properly prepare and position yourself to be found. Can somebody type that? Position yourself to be found. Type that on the screen for me. Type that on the screen for me. Hey Tiara, thank you so much for joining. So if you haven't already, I do encourage you to share. Whether if you're on Periscope or if you're Facebook Live, you can just share with 10, 20 people. You share with all your followers. You can repost it on your page. I believe that some women need to hear this message on today. We're going to be going today, tomorrow, and Friday. Today was my first day, and I was a little not exactly at 8 as I was hoping, but nevertheless, tomorrow should be on schedule because I have everything up. I have my board up, I have my lighting, and everything is good to go now. So it should be a little easier for me to hop in on tomorrow to be here so we can rock and roll 8 p.m. Okay, so now that I've gotten all that out the way, thank you guys for sharing. I appreciate you. What I wanted to tell you, we're going to get straight into it. I'm not even going to cut her. I'm not going to beat her on the bush. I'm going to jump straight in, and then I'm going to expose it, right? It's actually a technique they call in preaching, called expository preaching. So I'm going to tell you what that one thing is, and then I want to expose it so you know what it looks like, because it's one thing to know something, but it's something different to actually be able to recognize it in every situation. You can have a knowledge of a thing, but doesn't mean that you practice that thing every day. So I want to make sure that you're able to practice that thing and know exactly what I'm talking about so you can recognize it. Hey, April, I'm glad you were able to catch me live. So the bottom line is, the one thing that women often do that will keep a man from putting a ring on it. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Type ready. If you're ready, type ready. So the one thing is, hey, Jasmine, the one thing is, is pretty much trying to give him everything that he wants. Trying to give him, thank you, Demetria, for coming in, and Regina, appreciate you ladies, is giving a guy what he wants. And it like an oxymoron, if I could say that. It kind of sounds like, what? Let me go here for a moment. Sometimes, hey Raven, when we get into a place where somebody says they want something, whatever that thing could be, and if we have to, listen now, if you have to, in that decision of giving somebody what they want, you have to rearrange your priorities. You have to compromise your values or your beliefs. You have to jeopardize your health, your well-being, your family. Come on now. If any of these things trigger as a result of you having to give somebody what they want. If any of these things go off for you, hey Lisa, how are you, darling? So glad you're able to make it to the live tonight. If anything, these things trigger for you, then we have a problem. Because now what we're getting to a situation is now you're saying that this person's needs is somehow more important than your needs and your desires. And I don't tell you what I think, I only tell you what I know. Because I spent so many years, oh my God, so many years. And I always got to go back to the very first thing. I got to go back to the very first relationship, the very first situation that I was in when I was dating this guy. I was young, had no business dating this guy. He was like 3 years older than me. And one of the things he said, if you love me, you will make love to me. So from the very onset, the very first lesson of dating and relationship that I got was, if you love me, you will make love to me, right? And in that moment, I didn't want to believe that. I wanted to do something different because I really wanted to save myself for marriage was my goal at the time. Right. No, sir. No, sir. Sir, no, sir. I wanted to save myself at the time. However, I adopted that as a fundamental principle in my dating relationships. So I then started to think, if I love somebody, I have to show that love by being in a physical relationship. I have to show that love. I had to prove myself. Come on now. So that's where I really started to go wrong, and I started to practice this. So that was one relationship. But the crazy thing is, after a year dating this guy and finally conceding to his request that if I love him, I'll make love to him, and despite the fact that he broke up with me right after, none of that didn't matter. I was a slow learner when it came to dating. I was a fast learner and everything else. But when it came to loving relationships, I was a slow learner. And I went from one dead-end relationship to another dead-end relationship. And I kept, the relationships kept changing. Okay, Tiffany, the relationships kept changing. But the men in the relationship kept changing. But somehow the situations kept the same. At some points it was me giving up, sex. Sometimes it was me giving up, cooking, going to the cleaners, whatever he asked. I used to always tease a song with Ashanti. She used to sing that song, when he called, I came running. Honey, that was my truth. That was my truth. Now I have a little ratchet advice to tell you guys tonight. And you'll probably see why I say it's a little ratchet, but I believe it's something that you can remember, and it's something that you can hang on to as you move forward, just to help you to make better decisions as it pertains to your relationship. Hey, Toya, because we get into a place that we somehow get tricked that if we go with the flow, if we give, you think it seems natural. If you give somebody what they want, they should like you. They should be more admiring of you. But what happens is, I always like to tell a story of Tamar and her brother. Hey, Proverbs 31, King David children. And I always get it confused if it's I can't remember the guy's name. I want to say Absalom, but I don't think it was him. It was the other brother. Come on, my Bible scholars, help me out. Who was the brother who raped Tamar? So in that situation, the brother, somehow he just saw her and she was so beautiful. He saw her and he was like, oh my gosh, she's a dime piece. She's so beautiful. I want to be with her. Like, he wanted to be with his sister. I'm talking about King David from the Bible. His son wanted to be with his sister Tamar. Okay. And he saw her and he was acting like he was sick. Like, he was like, oh my God, I'm so sick. I want to be with her. I want to be with her. I want to be with her. And he was lusting after her. He desired her so much. He wanted to, be with her. Right? And he thought he loved her, but he was falling in lust with her. Hey, Camille, welcome, welcome, welcome. You guys share if you haven't already shared. Thank you so much for joining. He thought he was in love with her, but he was in lust with her. Can somebody type that? No, you got to be able to identify love versus love. Thank you, Raven. Amnon. Amnon. Thank you so much. That was the brother. He thought he was in love with her, but soon as he tricked her, he had her talking about, oh, he's sick. He acted like he was sick, and she, he wanted King David to send Tamar in to fix him something to eat so he could be with her in a sexual way. She was like, oh no, I'm good. You can't do that because I'm not a married woman. You're trying to be with me like that. I mean, even the whole thing like we're sisters and brothers is not cool. Thank you so much, Demetria. Appreciate you guys. See, I tell you, got the Bible scholars in the building. Thank you. And when he did have that physical relationship with her, somebody tell me, after he had that intimate, and just is not sex. It's just not sex. It could be a lot of different things. It could be multiple things. But after he had that physical relationship with her, after she gave him what he wanted, and she didn't even give it to him. He took it in this case. He just took it. Then somebody tell me what happened. I'm like, come on, Periscope, where y'all at? I don't see any comments on Periscope, Facebook Live. Can somebody tell me, after he was with her, he wanted her so bad, you know what I'm saying? He couldn't, oh my God. He acted like he couldn't sleep. He was acting like he was sick. He was just like, but soon as he got what he wanted, he left her. He shamed her. Like he was like, I'm good. Like, I mean, all that desire went out the door. So this is my ratchet advice to you. And again, that's kind of an interesting situation. I use that to say, for you to see that somebody can really like you. A guy can be really liking you. He can really pursuing you. He can be in lust with you. However, when you start to, once that physical intimacy happens, it's something that happens that his value oftentimes, not all the time, but a lot of times, especially if you continue to engage in that situation with no remorse and, his value and appreciation for you leaves and the whole curiosity leaves. The chase is over. Okay. So listen, this is what I want to tell you. This is my ratchet advice. Listen, I'm trying to keep lipstick off my teeth. This is my ratchet advice for you guys. Don't give him what he wants until you get what you want. I had to say this is my ratchet advice because I know I got a lot of holy people following me, and I love God, but I feel like this is something that you guys can remember. And I'm trying to come up with something that I think you can remember that will stick with you. So you got to say, hold on. How Smokey say same time, I don't know you. So before, he come and saying cook, clean, do this, do that, I'm saying, go, all this, don't give him, okay, thank you, Tiffany. Before we start to get into all these type of investments, okay, before you try to take my assets, I'm going to need you to make some investments, right? So when you invest in me, in my life, and show me that you're going to be sticking around, then we can have some more engagement and conversations, okay? I see people typing on the screen. So I do have some notes here just because I don't want to forget anything I want to share with you guys. So the first thing that I did to get over this people pleasing, right, is I had to renew my mind. I had to detox. I had to detach. You guys, I'm going to be giving you the 7 steps over the next several days. So make sure you're taking notes. So number one thing I had to do is detox my mind. You remember that thought that I had that if I had to give in order to get, I had to release myself from that mindset. I had to get away from that. I had to divorce that. Some of you guys need to divorce your way of thinking. You have to release the things that people have told you about how to do relationships, right? Hey, Rachel. Hey, girl. Hey, so glad you guys are on. And if you're on and I didn't say hi to you, I apologize. Regina, Tierra, Danielle. Hey, girl. Hey, Raven, Victoria. I see you, girl. So many of you guys. Periscope, let me know who you are. I can't see you as good on here if you're not typing. Hey, Prophetess, how are you? Welcome. You guys, let me just reset. I got a lot of people coming in and out. My name is Jill Bullock, and I'm extremely passionate about equipping you to catch your whole life. Everything from your mission to your mate. This is a season. This is a time for you to create the life that you love. And as a result, you will attract and keep healthy, happy love. And it doesn't have to take 25 years. It doesn't. It don't have to take 5 years. Listen, that takes me right into my second point that I'm going to share with you guys tonight. Is the preparation. So after you detox from those things, the thoughts, and no longer accepting those falsified, what our president call it, the fake news, the fake falsified information that people have told you about relationships or that you have adopted in relationships. Once you let that go, mind, body, spirit, then you can go into your preparation. And when it talks about preparation, I always think about Esther from the Bible, who spent how long? She spent some time preparing. She spent some time, if you know, type on here. How many months did she spend preparing? You do have to go through a preparation process. Also, mind, body, and spirit. Because you have to prepare yourself. And part of that preparation is building you up. Part of that preparation is building your confidence. Part of that preparation is, I got it here. I don't want to, let's see. Detaching from the obsession of being with the man. Somebody type that. You got to detach from the obsession of being with the man. Now, you still can date and have a desire, but I like to say desire, not desperation. Desire, not desperation. So detach from the outcome of the relationships. Because see, what happens is sometimes we get overly invested in, oh, I'm dating him. Where's this relationship going? Stop it. Stop it. Now, we're going to, in the program, I go through various questions that you need to ask so we can know straight up by date 1, 2, 3, we know if we're considering you, if he's considering you for marriage and you're considering him for marriage. So you're not going to be wasting a lot of time. No time wasters. Can somebody type no time wasters? We're not going to be wasting a whole lot of time. So we're going to cut to the chase and know this. However, but once that's already established that, listen, I'm evaluating you to see if you're worthy of my life. And that's the one thing you guys got to know. You are the interviewer. You are the interviewer because he's the applicant. Hello, somebody. Listen, women of God, you got to understand your power. You are the interviewer. He's the applicant, and he is applying to the position of husband in your life. So you have the right, you have the power, you have the authority to say, okay, listen, your resume, your interview wasn't all that good. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to wait for him. But even in that process, when he seems like he's a good candidate, you could bring him on board and you continue the assessment process. And he is on probation. He's on probation until pretty much the wedding day. I'm just saying. Hello, somebody. Can somebody type he's on probation? Can somebody type he's on probation? Come on, Periscope. Where y'all at? Where y'all at? Where y'all at? He is on probation until the actual wedding night. That's when he comes off of probation. You know, just like you go on your job. Just like you go on your job. You start a new job. They be like, usually it's 90 days. Sometimes it's 1 year. Come on now. The higher you go, come on now. Listen. A minute you got, I don't know how many of you guys are, hey, Timeen. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with government positions. But one thing I know about within the government, it goes from a GS1 to a GS15, right? So it's like different positions and promotions. GS1 being the lowest, GS15 being the highest. Listen, when you start getting into the GS14 positions, the probationary period, every time you go higher up, the probationary period increases. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Every time you go higher up, the probationary period increases. When you go be a supervisor, they will put you on a 2-year probation. Come on, somebody. That's usually a GS13. When you go to be a GS14, oftentimes they will put you on a 3-year mandatory. You got to be 3 years to see if you can, hold down the job at that point. So what I'm saying is you elevating who you are, the probationary period may be longer for you to assess, is he the right one? But during this time, you're not overly vested. Come on, women of God. You're not overly vested. What's going to happen? That was one of the greatest gifts that I did when it came to meeting my husband. My friend would ask me, are y'all boyfriend and girlfriend? What's happening? I was just chill. I was like, I'm having a good time. And that's what I want to tell you. Be obsessed with creating a life you love. You can be dating that person. You can be going out with that person, but you're not so, oh my God, praying on the relationship, wondering when the breakthrough's going to happen, wondering when the ring is going to come. You listen, I'm evaluating him, trying to see if he's about what he said he's about. right? But in the meantime and in between time, be obsessed with creating a life you love. Be obsessed with creating a life you love. So those are the first two steps. I'm gonna take one question. I don't know if I answered your question, Trina. I wanna make sure. I hope you're still here. Trina, if you're here, still tap here. I wanna make sure I answer your question. You said you had a question, and I wanna be sure I answer that. So tonight, we just went over a couple of parts of the steps in my Ready for Love program, which the first thing is detox. Change the way you think. We got to renew your mind, body, and spirit. Trina says she's here. A lot of people jumping on Facebook. Okay, number 2 is the preparation. You know, I didn't see anybody type it, but Esther in the Bible, she prepared for 12 months. She went through a 12-month preparation process. My personal preparation process, it was cumulative. It was cumulative. But the last time that I said, I'm hitting the reset button, because what I was doing ain't working. From that time, it was about July of, I want to say 2010. I met my husband February of 2011. So about 6 months, a little over 6 months, okay, that I went through that, call it what you want, soul searching. I had to go through my preparation. When Esther went through her preparation, she did all kind of oils and different things that she had to do, you know. And today, our preparation may look a little different, but we still got to go through that detox and that preparation process. So that's step 1 and that's step 2. So Trina's still here. She had a question. Trina had a question about trying to decipher something. So I need some insight to find out if I can support you. I'm going to say some general things, and you let me know if I go down your lane, okay? But what I'm going to say is, God's best for your life is for you to have a man that can lead you spiritually, okay? That's God's best for you. And I believe all of you guys are capable to find somebody and attract somebody that can lead you spiritually. With that being said, you still can have a healthy, happy, God-centered marriage, even if you're more spiritual than your husband, okay? You can. It's up to you, and you have to know where you're going. I know a young lady who is going in ministry, you know, really after the very heart of God, see herself doing ministry with her husband. Then in that case, if that's you, if you see yourself being in ministry and you want your husband to be in ministry with you, you definitely want somebody that can lead you spiritually. If you're saying, I just want a man that loves God and that, you know, he don't have to be speaking in tongues. You know, he don't have to jump around the church 8 times. I just need him to be saved and to live out that thing, you know, and if I'm a 6 and if I'm a 6 right now and he's a 5, I'm okay with that. We're like right there together, almost on the same level. Okay. However, you gotta figure out what those priorities are for you. So I'm going to give you guys another big nugget, okay? Write this down. This was not part of it. I'm doing this for you, Trina, okay? There's a couple of different areas that you have to make sure that you're on the same wavelength. Family, finance, sex. There's a couple others, trying to get it. I'm just trying to do this off the cuff here. What's my other 2 areas? Family, finance, sex. Obviously, faith. I'm going to say, I can't remember the 4th one. There's another, the 5th one. So I gave you guys 4. Family, fitness, sex, faith. I can't think of my 5th one. But I would say these 4 areas, you want to be on the same level. A very well-known pastor who argues that you can have 3 of these and still have a successful marriage. I don't know. Maybe it's health and wellness. I can't think of the 5th one, honestly. You know, he says you can have 3. I like to go for all of them. I would like to go for all of them. You need to be on the same wavelength and have the same mindset around these areas, right? Have the same value about family. have the same value about finances, have the same value in terms of your sexual desires and your sexual, things that you want to do. But you got to be very careful about talking about sex before engagement and things like that, assuming you're not in a sexual relationship. But you want to have that sexual compatibility, faith compatibility, finance, family. That's what I'll tell you. That's what I'll tell you. So if you definitely have less than 3 Ds, Trina, we got a problem. What about character or social consideration? Morals. Well, come on now. Thank you guys for asking. So on Periscope, you guys, I have folks asking, what about character? Thank you for asking that question, because sometimes I brush over things and I sometimes unearthing it like I want to, or exposing it like I said I would today. So listen, when I say faith, the faith should show through their actions. Come on now. So when you're talking about faith, you should see the fruits of their labor. You should see the fruits of who they are through the fruit of the Spirit. We have most of those things aligned. Okay. I would like to see 4 or 4, 3 or 4. You still likely good. You still be good, but I prefer all of them. That's just me. So, and you got to also think about this. Let me drop this, Trina. I'm gonna come back to the character. Hold on, you guys. Let me go back to Trina for a second. Trina, also think about where you're going. Sometimes I always talk about this. Don't marry somebody for where you are right now. Exactly. Don't marry somebody from where you are right now. You marry somebody based on where you're going. Because if they are already tapped out, if they already, tapped out, and you just getting started and y'all on the same level right now, that's not going to work. Okay. And that's fitness in terms of fitness guru. That shouldn't, I think you'll be fine. So getting back to character. You should see their character, their faith. Come on now. When you're talking about your faith, that's rooted in values and beliefs. What's character? Values and beliefs. So you should see that character in them. And it's just not about what they say. It's also about what they do. But anyway, I want to get off here because I can go all night, you guys. I can go all night. I hope, was this helpful to somebody? If this was helpful for you, just type yes. If this was helpful for you tonight, type yes. And we're going to continue the conversation. I'll just close with this. Again, when it comes to the faith, you should see the fruit of the Spirit, which is gentleness, kindness, long-suffering, right? Which long-suffering and patience is the same thing. You should see that. You should see, thank you, Tiffany. You should see different elements that they exemplify. Are they gentle? Are they kind? Okay, I'm going to give y'all another golden nugget. Y'all better catch this. Also, it's not about how they treat you. It's even more important how they treat others. Come on now. Let me say that again. It's not just about how they treat you, because when somebody's out to impress you, right, they're going to show up as their best version of themselves. They're going to do everything to make you happy. They're going to do everything to win you over, right? But you need to look at, how's he treating his mother? How's he treating his sister? Come on now. I stopped dating this guy because he was mistreating his dog. I'm just the same. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. And when you see the fruits of the Spirit in that person, then you will know about their character. That will show you their faith. Because a tree is known by the fruit that it bears, right? Can't fake it forever. And you know what? People often don't fake it, especially guys. Oftentimes they don't. Pay attention. And that's why you don't want to be so emotionally and physically attached, because all of that moochie and kissy and lovey, it distracts you from paying attention with your conscious mind. And now we're getting into step 3 and 4. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Okay, you guys, let me get off of here. Don't ignore the red flags. Okay. Hey, Sophie, Prophetess Sophie, she's saying red flags. Prophetess Sophie, over here, we talk about stop signs. Don't make me bring my big stop sign out. Because we say there's no such thing as a red flag. What they see, when you see those things, is a stop sign, and it means you need to go ahead and deboard the plane, deboard the train, get off my toes, okay, right? So just go ahead and get off. Because while you're sitting there occupying and letting somebody else take up a seat, as long as you with Mr. Wrong, you don't have room for Mr. Right. And he about to be with somebody else because you fooling around. It's not about how they treat. Yes, Victoria. So anyway, you guys, yes, like TD Jakes, how do they treat the people who can't do anything for them? Okay, come through. I'm glad you ladies are enjoying it. So we're going to do part 2 tomorrow. Let's see what part 2 is about. I feel like I wrote it down. I did this one thing and finally attracted healthy, happy love. So that's what we'll talk about tomorrow. It's just getting good. I know. Let me do a recap and I'm off of here. I took off my Fitbit trying to be cute. Let's see what time it is. 8:53. So I just wanted to share with you guys a little bit tonight about don't get caught up in trying to give him what he wants. My ratchet advice for you guys, takeaway: don't give him what you want until you get what you want. Okay? And you getting what you want is not a promise ring, is not an engagement ring, is him at the altar saying, I vow to give my whole entire life. Right? Pretty much saying that he's going to take you to be his wife, and doing that whole covenant thing, the whole thing. That's at the point that you can start saying, okay, you deserve it now. But yeah. And even like I said, it's just not about sexual thing. Because I know some people may be watching this and they be like, well, Jill, I like what you're saying, but I'm not a Christian. I don't believe that. I get that. But I'll tell you, just in general, whether it's dealing with intimacy, just being overly emotionally available is not good. So I'm not saying, oh, T, I'm not saying, Victoria, oh, don't be physical with him, but go cook for him and go do this and go do that. No, we're not going to be overly emotionally available. Like, he needs to have his emotional self together. I saw somebody put a ridiculous post on Facebook the other day saying that women, as spiritual women, we're going to attract hurt men. Can somebody type the devil is a liar? Oh, no. Dating a man that's asking to borrow money? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Bye, Troy. Get your life together. Get your life together. The devil is a liar. Finances is the #1 reason for divorce. We ain't got time. We ain't going in this thing messed up now. We ain't going in there messy. I believe hurt women attract hurt men. And that's why we about to heal. How my girls say, Tamar always say, heal everything. So we're going to go through, and that's what that detox does, is allows you to heal. Because once you identify the areas that have stained you and that has caused you to hurt, and we start exposing those things, and we start going into your preparation and rebuilding your whole character, like from the inside out. Anyway, you guys, let me get off of here. I love you guys so much. We'll be back here tomorrow, 8 o'clock, and I'm going to see if I can figure out that third thing, Trina, because the fifth thing. I'm like, what's my fifth thing? So we're going to talk about it. Join me back here. Bye, Lance. Okay. See you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'll be on my business page. If you guys haven't already, share this, invite with your friends, invite with your followers. I believe a lot of women are going to be blessed because we are about to set the path straight from all these lies and distortions and all this other mess that we've been told about how to do relationships. And we about to get this thing right because ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time to waste. No time wasters. Glad you were blessed, Lydia. Okay, ladies, let me hop off. You all have a good night. Part 2 tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Good night, Facebook.